day before the last day. So I'm watching Law and Crime right now. They actually are showing like Amber and everybody arriving. We got people out there screaming, carrying on. Yup. Is that Johnny or is that Amber? LOL. The people are out there. Johnny. People are hyped. Do I hear people saying Amber? So I hear like Amber, I hear Johnny. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Wow. Apparently Amber's about to be back on the stand today in the rebuttal. Amber's about to get her little cracked ass up on this stand, her little psycho ass up on this stand today. Oh Lord, I thought we had been done with that shit. I really thought we were done hearing from Amber. Like, what more? What more do we need, Amber, y'all? Like, you didn't sat up there and lied yesterday. Literally yesterday, all your lies were disproven. Boom. One by one. Disproven. What more is for you to say? What can she say? You can't make this better, y'all. You're a fucking liar. You sat up here and you lied the whole time. You sat up here, you try to act like you have all these pictures and shit. The last thing that you had was disproven. They were fucking edited. You sneaky fucking bitch. Dude, there's a lot of people out there. The court's about to start. What is it, 8:53? 8:55. So it should be starting any moment now. I'm sorry, I look a mess. I just like woke up. But this is how serious it is. You wake the fuck up, turn this shit on, let's get to it. So I'll come back once things actually start. I don't know how I'm gonna do it today. I definitely wanna watch Amber. I have no clue who else is gonna be up here today. But yeah, I'll come back.
Distal phalanx, meaning there was a fracture of the tip of the finger.
Okay.
And that there were multiple pieces.
So this
is some type of blunt force with a high mechanism of injury.
Blunt force with a fucking vodka bottle.
Along, it's called the ulnar side of the
that
finger.
Cut him.
And this
big ass vodka bottle.
Based upon my review of the pictures, to be some type of sharp laceration because it
sharp laceration. Clean edges on the wound. Meaning cut.
Exhibit 60. And pull up.
Cut.
To page 3.
Mind you, Amber's team only has an hour and something left.
With this document?
Yes.
And what is it?
So these are two radiographs, x-rays of Mr. Depp's fingers.
Okay.
His middle finger.
Okay.
You see how Johnny put his glasses on? Amber stopped that shit. We haven't seen her put glasses on in weeks.
All right, well, identified as 60, page 3 in published decision.
And Dr. Gilbert, sorry to cut you off.
That is such a smooth dude. Ugh.
What we're looking at here.
Like typically, oh my God. I just,
right middle finger after the injury,
things I would do.
And towards the tip of the finger, there's a fracture. Again, what I describe as a comminuted fracture, meaning there are multiple pieces at the tip. There's also a transverse component to the fracture.
Whose doctor is this?
In your view, what types of mechanisms can cause this sort of injury?
So this is a mechanism of injury that has high velocity or force, generally a crush
High
type
velocity
injury.
or
A
force,
simple fall
crush,
would not result
meaning
in
something
a comedy
thrown.
fracture such as is seen in these X-rays.
Something thrown at
And
you,
we're
high
using the term
velocity.
comminuted fracture. Can we just define that quickly for us?
So again, comminuted, and it's not particular to a finger, is a medical term for a fracture that has multiple fragments.
In your opinion, could
Look
this
at our
injury
man.
have been sustained in the manner Mr. Depp described?
I do believe so.
And how might that look? How might a thrown vodka bottle produce an injury like this?
So vodka bottle, which is a hard object,
Hard
would
object.
crush the tip of the finger, resulting in the comminuted fracture.
Right, the little fractures in there would have crushed
as the
it.
Vodka bottle broke.
As it broke, that sharp
glass would have
side, the glass,
lacerated the finger,
exactly,
resulting in
and cut it
soft
off.
tissue loss. That was also seen with
and
this
cut it off. Boom. That's how.
What's your assessment of the description of the cause of the injury offered by Ms. Heard?
I think that's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Why is that?
Because it don't make no fucking sense.
Because in general, when an injury is caused by punching
Right.
against a wall or a
Punching
hard
up against
object,
the wall
it's
repeatedly.
extremely rare to see an injury to the tips of the fingers.
Exactly.
This is Depp's injury. Generally, you're holding something with a fist.
Exactly.
And that
Thank
generally
you.
uses the knuckles here.
Here we go. Knock it out the park first thing in the morning. It fucking lies.
Second most common after those would be injuries
The
to
knuckles.
these, but as you can see, if you're holding something and hitting
Right,
against
and you're
something,
hitting against
it is very
something. Those tips of your
unlikely
fingers
that
are
the tips of your
protected.
fingers will be injured.
Thank you, Jesus. Tell the truth.
Just taking into account the radiographs and the pictures of the injury, I would not believe that a blunt force, solely a blunt force against a wall.
A wall
would result in
is gonna
soft
do
tissue
that.
loss.
You fucking lying bitch. Damn, you lied about everything.
On Mr. Depp's hand,
How does somebody
injury
lie
occurs
about
as Ms.
every
Heard
single
described.
thing?
So, if you would have, if that were the cause of the injury, you would certainly, that would be a dorsally directed.
Look at
so this is
Johnny.
the dorsal in the back of the hand, as opposed
Whew,
to the palmar
I
side.
know this is
So if you're
just
punching against
really a
something,
lot on
you're
him. It's
certainly
almost
expecting
done,
injury to
baby.
the
It's
delta,
almost
and those
done.
are always seen in those type of injuries.
And you will be
If there
vindicated
is an
and can
injury
live
to the
your
tip of the
life.
finger, which again I said is rare. So you would see either a loss of the nail or blood underneath the nail called a subungual hematoma.
Mm-hmm.
In your review of the medical records, did you see any sign of anything like that?
None whatsoever.
Nope. Boom. Done. Thank you. Thank
In
you,
your
sir.
view, is the injury. Can you explain to us exactly why you think the injury is consistent with Mr. Depp's description?
Yes. Because it makes sense.
Well, again,
He just explained it.
his hand, he describes his hand being held over a marble bar, which is
It hit it,
firm,
it crushed the tip and cut it off.
something firm, unyielding, and the bottle hit against the finger.
Yeah.
So basically, the finger was crushed, resulting in, again, what I described as a comminuted fracture.
Comminuted fracture,
And
the little
as
teeny
Mr. Depp
fractures.
described, the bottle exploded, so it's certainly reasonable that the glass that exploded as
Would
well
have cut.
led to the soft
Yes.
tissue loss along the ulnar aspect of his finger.
Thank you. Thank you,
Now,
Jesus.
did you observe the testimony
Thank you,
of
sir.
Dr.
Thank you.
Richard Moore?
Yes, I did.
Moore is a
He
liar.
testified about Mr. Depp's finger injury as well.
And he's another paid liar.
Did you agree with Dr. Moore's testimony?
Absolutely not.
Certain parts of his testimony I did, yes, but not all of it.
No.
Focusing on the parts that you, well, first of all, why don't you tell us what you agree on?
Well, I agreed in terms of his interpretation of the x-rays, saying that he had a comminuted fracture and this was some type of high force injury.
Yep, but it's not high
What
force
did you disagree
hitting up against the damn
I
wall.
disagreed with several things that he said. He first said that
Several.
he does not believe that the mechanism of injury could be, as described by Mr. Depp, holding the hand on the side of a
Mind you,
marble
Mr. Moore had never
bar,
seen him.
because he said it was all a palmar injury, and there was a palmar component to the injury, but I'm talking about the soft tissue loss, but there's also a dorsal, meaning the back of the finger.
Mm-hmm.
So the soft tissue loss was actually, if you looked at the pictures which were shown when Dr. Moore testified, the injury goes like this.
Yeah.
So it's an angled or an oblique type injury. And there's no way that
I
anybody
love
could
smart
determine
people.
whether or not it was a palmar
I love
corrective
smart
force,
people who
meaning
know what
from
the
the
fuck they're
palm side or
talking
dorsal
about
corrective force.
and know how to
But certainly
explain
highly
it.
plausible.
Anything else come to mind that you disagreed with?
Well, he also described that this was definite. Well, he thought that this was a pinching or what he described as an avulsion type injury.
Uh-huh.
And that's referring to the soft tissue loss. That's certainly possible.
Dang.
But if you look at the pictures that were shown when he testified,
It's like
the last
split.
one looked fairly clean.
Ooh.
It was not jagged. And
That
typically when
looks
you have an
so
avulsion or a pinch type
painful.
injury, you see a very irregular
Poor
cord to
Johnny.
the skin. It's pinched off. You can imagine, as opposed
God,
to
I
something
feel
that's
so bad
cleaner
for him. That looks
would be
so
lacerated
painful.
by, let's just say, a piece of glass or a knife or whatever.
Well, well, well. Look who we have back here. Miss Quacked Out Hughes. Quack, quack. Sat there and lied about her having PTSD. Dr. Curry came just yesterday and blew all the shit you're trying to say right now out of the water. It does not matter. Why does she look so red? Amber, how do you sleep at night? How do you lay your head down on a pillow, close your eyes, and peacefully go to sleep at night, knowing what it is that you've done and what you're going to go through after all of this is over?
These different tests. Is that accurate?
It is accurate.
That is not accurate.
It is accurate. It was extreme. It was exaggerated. Even the question that Amber selected, that is kind of like a gotcha, to tell when people are lying and exaggerating, she checked. She's a liar.
Dr. Curry also suggested
And
that,
Dr. Hughes is sitting up here lying for her again.
very, very high
She did.
percentile, I think, on malingering and feigning.
She's a malingerer.
Could you speak to that?
She's a feigner.
Sure. So, I mean, she said a lot of things, so let's go through.
Yeah,
this.
she said a lot of things and you said a lot of things. You said a lot of lies.
Objection, non-responsive.
I think it's very responsive. Sustained.
Sustained.
Could you tell the jury about the PAI test that Dr. Curry
Yes, so,
suggested?
yes, thank you. So that's the broad.
Y'all two ladies are saying two exact opposite things. Get the sleepies out your eyes, Amber.
I told you last time.
Wake the
that
fuck
there was no
up.
evidence of malingering or exaggeration or feigning on that test.
That's a
What
goddamn
Dr. Curry
lie.
was talking about was this,
She's
tendency
a
to put
malingerer.
your best foot forward to minimize faults on this PAI. That scale was right at the cusp. And then there are two other measures that we look at that to say,
Whatever,
is this enough
Hughes.
for an elevation for me to consider that as a serious
You are just
response
trying to
suicide
save
over
your
12
career at
seconds,
this point.
And it was not. What was relevant on this test was
Save
there were
your
elevations
career.
on anxiety, on affective anxiety.
I'm sure she has
anxiety
anxiety because she's sitting up here lying to the world. I would have extreme anxiety.
hyperactivity, and on affective instability. Those were the four scales that were elevated on this test. The borderline scale was not elevated on.
Well, that's a lie then, because clearly there's something mentally wrong with this woman.
Approach.
I'm just supposed to believe that this woman is a normal, functioning human being. Ain't nothing wrong with her, and she don't got no type of mental illness. Amber really wants people to think that she has no mental illness and she just did this as a normal person. And she's sitting up here. She has no shame. She has no fucking shame. It's astounding. Look at Elaine. All them head movements.
The TSI-2, Dr. Curry testified about...
She just called Dr. Hughes Dr. Curry again.
Her testimony yesterday.
Did she really just do that yet again?
Describe why. Explain why.
What Dr. Curry went back to, which is this.
She need not say Dr. Curry's name out her mouth.
In the manual.
What I just told you.
It says specifically that we do not use the percentile ranks for this test. That indicates to me that, Dr. Curry does not know the psychometric properties of this test, and then she then is therefore not qualified to interpret it.
No, it tells me that you are not qualified to come up here and lie and say that Amber Heard don't got no fucking mental illness and she don't got borderline or histrionic. That tells me you're a goddamn liar.
She's nowhere near that level of exaggerated.
She is. What do you mean? You've been sitting here listening to this fucking case. She's exaggerated every single fucking thing. You're gonna say she's nowhere near it. All she's done is lie, fabricate, and exaggerate.
Intrusive experience.
Everything.
Thoughts and memories of the trauma coming
Bitch.
to mind when you don't want them. Defensive avoidance, so behavioral ways that we try to push out those memories and not think about them. And then relational avoidance, a way of having difficulty in interpersonal relationships. Those are all trauma-based symptoms, and those were elevated on this test.
Thank you. Dr. Hughes, the MFAS, Dr. Curry addressed that as well and had criticisms for your interpretations. Do you agree with that?
No.
Please explain to me.
So the MFAS, as I told you last time, is a measure of malingering. It's the only measure of malingering that was done in this case. Dr. Curry did not independently administer a measure of malingering, and there are other ones that she could have done to augment her evaluation. And she kept saying some of the MFAS is not for malingered PTSD. That's wrong on a couple of levels. People who are going to malinger and feign don't only feign one diagnosis. They sometimes talk about all different symptoms that they have, and they exaggerate and they make themselves seem much worse than they are.
That's
So
all.
when
That's
you're doing
literally
an
what she's
evaluation,
done this
you're
entire time. You crazy fucking bitch. All she has done is make everything sound worse than what it actually was, and or never fucking happened. She took a story Johnny told her about Kate Moss and turned it into her Johnny pushing her down the fucking steps. Are you kidding me?
And that is
Is this woman for real?
literature that Dr. Curry cited in her report.
She just has a hard on for Dr. Curry because she made her look fucking dumb, and she's not going to be able to be in the medical field and have any type of respect anymore because she decided to get her 15 minutes of fucking fame and come up here and goddamn lie.
Now, Dr. Curry also
Liar.
talked about the danger assessment scale and suggested that you had inappropriately interpreted that. Do you agree?
That's also incorrect.
Please describe for the jury.
Which I told you last time, the danger assessment scale has statistically validated risk factors for serious or lethal.
I'm going to need her to lose the
Those
attitude.
risk factors.
I keep hearing her say,
increase
which
whether
I
we go
told
forward,
you,
sitting with
which
someone
I
in a
told
key
you.
setting and assessing them right now.
She's so
Or if we look
aggressive.
backward and we look retrospectively
Hostile.
at what
She's
factors
annoyed.
may have been
She can't even get your name right. You sitting up here lying and you have not even been able to be called by your correct name 100% of the time. Is it worth it?
Those are boards after somebody has been killed, a homicide has occurred in a domestic situation. They look at these risk factors to see what was there and what could be done.
Right. Dr. Curry also criticized your administering of the CAPS 5. Do you agree with her criticisms?
I do not.
Would you please explain to the jury?
So the CAPS 5, as you all have heard multiple times, is a structured clinical interview in determining PTSD according to DSM-5 criteria. On this measure, Amber Heard scored in a moderate range. She did not over-exaggerate on this test. She could have said no, mild, moderate, severe, and extreme. All of hers were either 2s or 1s or 0s. None above that. So she's scoring in the moderate range, which still has functional impairments. I mean, we don't want someone to be having moderate PTSD, but that's not an exaggerated profile or exaggerated response style of someone who's answering an instrument.
And the last of these Dr. Curry referred to was the PCL-5. Do you agree with her criticisms of your administration and interpretation of that?
No, so the PCL-5 is a checklist of symptoms of PTSD. It is, as she said, it is a face valid instrument. It means it's very clear about how you can endorse this. But what the person has to do is say, how disturbed am I by these symptoms? And when you have face valid measures with these other measures that have the built-in sort of ability scales, you're sort of controlling for that response bias error. You're controlling for that individual to sort of over-exaggerate. But then what you do with that test, because this is, we're not just administering them like robots, is you go and you do a clinical assessment. And that's what I did. I took what she
And so did Dr.
endorsed on
Curry.
that test in January of 2021, and I did a clinical assessment of those symptoms to see if they meet criteria for PTSD. That is something we do clinically, and I do in my office all the time. And yes, she did meet PTSD from that in January 2021.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Curry said you misinterpreted her test results. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree that I agree that I interpreted them like she misinterpreted them.
Okay.
No, you
Yes,
misinterpreted.
so I said that before. My stance on the MMPI and how she interpreted it is, I believe, wrong. And I think
I
Objection,
believe
Your
you're wrong.
That's the issue we just addressed.
I believe you're lying.
I don't you want to.
Get it together, Elaine. Get it together. Sit up there just lying. I disagree with her because she disagrees with me. And it's like, okay, so y'all both are saying opposite things. It's constant.
Now, Dr. Hughes, Dr. Curry also testified that a victim of PTSD has to effectively be prone and unable to function at all. Would you agree with that?
Objection misstates the evidence.
She said
That is
they
not
couldn't
what
hike,
she
they
said.
couldn't move, they couldn't function in any shape, way, shape, or
Overruled
form.
objection.
Thank you.
No, that is not correct. That is often actually a myth and misconception about individuals who are struggling with PTSD or trauma-based disorders, and I'm often called to answer that and speak to that. People who are struggling with trauma and PTSD are very strong, courageous, resilient people, even though that they're struggling. They get up, they have to go to work, and drop their kid off at school and go to the market, even though they're struggling with these symptoms. So I often talk about it as sort of walking around with a 50-pound bag of flour on their backs, just sort of trying to get through the day, where sometimes that button's going to press play and the trauma's going to start activating in their head, and then they're going to be having to think about it and have startle and have physiological reactions until they can find a way to hit that pause and shut it off again. So they still have, impairments in other ways, but they go about their lives. They're not, totally debilitated. If you have someone in that high range, the highest score is an 80 on the CAPS, Ms. Hurd had a 28. If you have someone in the higher range, we have seen people who are, severely disabled because of it, but that's not the norm of people who have this moderate PTSD.
And did you find functional impairment with Amber?
Yes, I did.
Now, Dr. Curry also said that it is not within the scope of a psychologist to evaluate domestic violence. Do you agree with that?
Of course I don't agree with that. This is what I do for a
course you
living
do.
day in, day out for 25 years. We are specifically trained to understand the profound impact
But
that
you don't
trauma has on
understand
people's lives.
anything.
That's what we do in the trauma division of the American Psychological Association. We disseminate that knowledge. And domestic violence is one of those profound traumas. Domestic violence is part of state licensing boards, that you can't get licensed in some states unless you take training on domestic violence. You can't renew your license unless you get training on domestic violence. So people who have, specialized training in this area, it is, beholden upon them to accurately assess for intimate partner violence and sexual violence. And it's more important to assess for this sort of scientific understanding of what domestic violence is. So you have to assess for the physical violence, the psychological violence, the surveillance, the economic, the emotional abuse, and the sexual violence. That is not gratuitous. That is
Objection.
understanding.
Narrative.
All right. Next question. Now, Dr. Curry suggested that you made a determination just based on
I wish
personal
they would keep
opinion
this woman's
and just
name
on
out of their mouth.
checklists and a couple of tests that you misinterpreted. Would you agree with that?
Police for
I
Amber.
vehemently disagree with that. As I stated to you, over 29 hours and 12 psychological tests and reviewing a slew of documents in this case, most importantly, therapy records and interviews, collateral interviews with therapists, using all that data. That is what a solid forensic methodological exam looks like. And then I made my conclusions based on my clinical education, knowledge, and training to come up with a professional expert opinion.
And just to remind, to make sure we're reminded here, you were qualified in this court, in this case, as an expert in forensic psychology, and specifically in domestic violence and in no, I just lost it.
Oh, Lordy,
and in violence, correct? Intimate and in trauma, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, misstates the record.
If you want to ask the question.
States the record. Get it together.
Probably should do that. You were qualified. Gotta find my note.
Fine, you
You
know.
were
Get it
qualified as
together.
an expert in forensic psychology with a specialty in domestic violence and in trauma, correct?
Correct.
She has a specialty in getting up and
That's correct.
testifying on cases and getting a check and taking her a happy ass home. That's what she has a specialty in.
Yes, I do.
And do you still hold them within a reasonable degree of psychological probability and certainty?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Can we approach quickly?
Sure.
Please get her ass. Please get her ass. Because I'm sick of her. I'm sick of all these people who have got up here and lied on behalf of Amber. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Your career should be ruined. You should never work in this society again. Shouldn't represent a goddamn person. You did not have to do this. Y'all do not have to take this blood, dirty money. Mm-mm. Just a mess. Elaine can't get her notes together, can't get her questions. It's just a fucking mess. She's so animated. Look at her. Okay, on to the cross.
Good morning, Dr. Hughes.
Good morning, Mr. Dennison.
Look at her smiling. She
The
wants
last
him.
time you were
She
here,
wants
I
him.
believe that you testified that you had diagnosed Ms. Heard with PTSD before you gave the gold standard CAPS-5 test.
That's correct.
Right. And that diagnosis is actually reflected in the first of the disclosures you put forward in this case.
I believe the first disclosure was February 2021, and at that point I had done 11 psychological tests. That's correct.
And your disclosure reads, Ms. Heard's responses on the PCL-5 support a DSM-5 diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder with an etiology of intimate partner violence she experienced by a former partner. Remember writing that?
That's correct.
Okay. You just testified that you need to read the manual, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we put up 1311 as a demonstrative?
Any objection to 1311?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you want to make you approach.
Tom?
Thank you.
They're getting the right one up.
Yeah, you got it. Let's use 1312.
1312. Okay. And that. Any objection to that demonstrative?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. 1312 can be published at your.
Dr. Hughes, do you recognize what the National Center for PTSD did?
What it is? Yes, I do.
And they publish the PTSD checklist for DSM-5,
That's correct.
that what we've been calling the PCL-5.
Correct.
All right. And do you, are you familiar with the document that's on your screen?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the instruction manual to how to administer the PCL-5.
I'd like to move for the admission of 1312.
Any objection to 1312 coming into evidence? All right, 1312 and evidence.
Can we go to the second page? Can we blow up the second paragraph on the right? That's the PCL-5 should not be used as a solo diagnostic tool. When considering a diagnosis, the clinician will still need to use clinical interviewing skills and a recommended structured interview, e.g. the CAPS-5, to determine a diagnosis, correct? That's what the manual says.
Right, and this manual
Okay.
also says that this is a screening instrument, so when you do the clinical interview, you absolutely can determine diagnosis
So the
after
answer is
somebody
yes. The manual says you
still
the
need to use
PCL-5
clinical interviewing skills, which I use.
let me finish my question. The PCL-5 should not be used as a standalone diagnostic tool, and they recommend using the CAPS-5 to determine a diagnosis, correct?
It does say that, yes.
Yeah, and you made your diagnosis before you did the CAPS-5.
I made my diagnosis through clinical interviewing and 11 other psychological tests that supported diagnosis of PTSD and symptomatology consistent with PTSD.
Okay. You said that we should read the manual. Would you also agree with me that we need to read the directions on these tests?
Sure.
Okay. Tom, can you pull up 1309 as a demonstrative?
Get her. Get away.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any objection to 1309 as demonstrative? Okay. No, 9, and post the jury as demonstrative.
Doctor, can you recognize the demonstrative that's in front of you?
Yes, but I didn't put the red lines on that.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I know.
Okay. So, this, what do you recognize this as?
I recognize that we previously discussed this, and I told you that I oriented Miss Heard to a different time frame because she was already out of the relationship.
Okay, maybe we should back it up a little. This is the CTS-2 that you administered as part of this battery of tests that you indicate you did in relationship to your diagnosis.
Right, this is the conflict tactic scale too.
And you'll agree with me that this test specifically asks, in front of every single question, how often did this happen in the past year?
Correct, and I
Right.
oriented
And
the
you
individual
know-
to not limit herself to the
Correct.
last year to get an accurate assessment of the violence and abuse that she experienced in the relationship.
She gave an accurate assessment of nothing. She sat up there and lied. Look at Amber smiling and shit. What are you smiling for?
Thank you. Next question.
What are you smiling
And
for?
you know that at the time
She's so
that you gave
evil.
this test to Miss Heard, she had been away from Mr. Depp for far longer than a year, correct?
Far longer.
Which is why I oriented her to a different
Yes or no,
time
ma'am?
frame in answering the
Doctor,
question.
Look at Amber looking so smug. She's so arrogant, y'all. Look at the smirk.
Give you another one.
She's getting joy and enjoyment out of this. Look at her. This is a woman who was brutally abused. They're talking about her mental issues and her having PTSD and this, that, and other. She's sitting up there fucking smiling and smirking and shit. And I'm supposed to take this seriously. Please. She is weird. Amber is a weird bitch. People want to talk about Johnny being weird. No, this bitch is weird. Johnny's eccentric. She's just weird. She's off.
1310. It's not much.
Like something's not right up in there. You can tell. Looking through her eyes, there's nothing behind her eyes. Absolutely nothing. Danger assessment.
Dr. Hughes, this is a blank form, but this is the danger assessment test that you also gave to Ms. Hurd, correct?
I didn't give it to her, I filled it out based on the data that was provided to me.
So here's a list
You asked her the question.
that they
and you filled
did.
it
Has
It
the
was a
physical
somewhat
violence
collaborative.
increased severity or frequency over the past year? No. Does
in.
he
Blow
want to
up
go?
the
No.
second full paragraph.
Have you left him after living together during the past year? No, because she would never leave. It was Johnny always leaving.
Says, using the calendar,
Pull
please
it
mark
up.
the approximate dates during the
Pull it up.
past year when you were abused by your partner or ex-partner.
Pull that up.
You didn't use
She
it.
sat there and lied on it.
I did not use a calendar because she
Of
was
course you
already
did.
out of the relationship. As I said, these are static risk factors, so they don't change. So I oriented her to the time of the relationship.
Ma'am, it's fair to say that this examination that you gave specifically indicates that you were supposed to look over the past year, and
That's
not the
one,
language.
no, that's one administration. People use this instrument for if you're in an acute situation in a relationship, trying to get a better assessment of the current behaviors. We can use it retrospectively, like I just stated, and in the homicides and looking back about what are the serious risk factors that were in this
I
relationship.
didn't ask you about anything other than, don't the instructions limit this test to the previous year?
You can give this test not only on the
No,
previous year,
asking you about the instructions.
but I'm telling you how the test is administered in clinical practice and in forensic practice.
And opposing counsel can come up and ask questions about it. I'm asking you about the instructions. And the instructions say, look over the past year. And,
Yeah, on this, yes, that it says that.
and you had actual knowledge when you gave the test that Mr. Depp was gone way more than a year before this test.
That is correct.
Right. All right. Let's look at more instructions. Can we look at 1247, which is already in evidence? Dr. Hughes, you recognize this one too, right?
Yes,
All right. This is the, whatever it goes to CAPS 5. All
correct.
right, can we go to the first page? Let's blow up the instructions. Standard administration and scoring of the CAPS 5 are essential for producing reliable and valid scores and diagnostic decisions. Correct?
Correct.
And you know you have to do this in a standardized way because it is the first instruction, correct?
Correct.
Can we go to the next page? One more. Oh, wait. That's good. This is a page on scoring, and we talked about this last time.
Yes.
You score these tests by frequency and intensity.
Correct.
And you'll remember that in every single instance that you were asked to fill in the blank about frequency, you failed to do so, correct?
That's not correct.
Oh,
She
You-
failed to
you
do
filled in-
so.
any blank on this form with respect to frequency?
I filled in the frequency on the side of the caps where I am actually scoring the caps.
No, I asked you whether you filled in a single blank on this form with respect to frequency. Is the answer to that yes or no?
I don't know what you mean, a single blank.
All right, let's page. Let's keep going. All right, we'll stay at this page for a second. This is the very first box you're asked to fill in as to, I think, a fairly fundamental question, right? What happened?
We talked about this before, Mr. Dennison. I had 88 pages of notes of what happened. It would have been redundant to put it there.
You know that you are obligated to produce this test in a way that other people can meaningfully review them.
Yep.
Yes?
The people in this case who are meaningfully reviewing them have my 88 pages of notes.
Right. But you chose to put absolutely nothing
Yep.
in the box, the standardized box, that said what happened.
You don't have to put it in the box if you have it somewhere else. It's not
Because
a,
this
it's
is not a standardized test.
Well, if it's not a research instrument that is used for research, if you're using it for a clinical diagnostic purpose, no, you don't. If you have that data elsewhere.
Okay. Let's go another page or so. All right. Let's go another one. All right. Let's look at item 4B4. And I ask you, you filled in the blank about frequency. And there's a blank in many of these items that asks a number of times. You didn't fill a single one of them in, did you?
Right, because I filled them on the right side of the instrument where I am scoring it.
And that is the way that you believe that you followed the instructions of a standardized test.
Yes, correct.
No further questions.
All right, read your right.
Very briefly. Static risk factor, what did you mean by that?
Static risk factors are risk factors that don't change. It's maybe if you smoke cigarettes, you may have a risk of lung cancer, right? That's a factor that doesn't change. You can look forward if someone's smoking, you can look past if someone's smoking. So these lethality risk factors are present whether you're evaluating them in the last year or 5 years ago.
And when you're trying to assess for trauma related to the interpersonal violence that we discussed, why is it important to get a time frame in which the relationship was in existence?
Well, you want to see the amount of trauma that the person experienced. The longer that they're in a relationship, you have more successive trauma. And one of the things that we know from the research is more trauma is not better. So the more successive traumas that you have, the greater likelihood that somebody's going to have psychological consequences and symptomatology as a result.
And therefore you need to get it within the relationship.
Objection, leading.
And so how does that relate to needing to get the time frame in the relationship?
Well, you need to understand when you're trying to evaluate the impact of something, you want to have to understand what happened to the person, and that's sort of the core and the basis of trauma-informed care and of trauma diagnoses. You have to understand, the traumatic event and how it transpired and how it played out for that individual, so that you can better assess for the symptomatology that's falling from it.
You said you had 88 pages of notes. What were in your 88? And without going into the specifics, can you just describe what was included in the 88 pages of notes?
In the 88 pages were
88
many of
pages
the
of
documented
bullshit.
incidents of intimate trauma.
Objection, Your Honor.
She's just describing it. That came up. He said you didn't fill those in the boxes. She said it was in my 88 pages. I'm just saying what was in your 88 pages. I'm not asking her to give each of the specific events. She can describe the summary of it.
Can we come up?
Okay.
Yeah, because they about to try to do some slimy shit. They about to try to do some slimy shit. Because that's the type of people they are. Can't do right. I'm over here working, y'all. I'm trying to get done so I can really focus.
What is the difference between clinical scoring and clinical evaluation and research evaluation with respect to the CAPS 5 and the other tests?
When
Action compound.
Sustained.
Your Honor, when it's compounded, because it might be confusing to the jury.
Good. Sustained. Next question.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury what the difference is between clinical scoring and evaluation on a test and research?
Action, Your Honor, compound.
Overruled. Good.
Sure, so the PCL and the CAPS-5 are frequently used in research. And when they're used in research, that means the document stands alone. They don't have 88 pages of notes to help understand the background of the trauma and what the person has experienced. And why those boxes may be relevant in research is because, you know, back in the day when I was a research assistant, I had to input that into the computer. And then they would maybe look at some of that data for the research study. So that becomes very important in research.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Thank you, Dr. You can have a
Thank
seat
you.
in the courtroom.
Bye,
Thank you.
bitch.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess. Our morning recess. Just take our 15-minute recess. Do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research, okay?
That was terrible. That was terrible. They prove absolutely nothing. And at this point, aren't they out of time? Isn't AH's team out of time? It's been over an hour. What's the time check?
All right, why don't we just come back at 11:05 then?
We can come back at 11:05. Hopefully I can get some work done and be tuned the fuck in and see who gets up on the stand after this break. So that's what I'm going to do. Look at Johnny. He's grabbing his coffee, grabbing his books. Hopefully trying to go out there and get a smoke break real quick. Looking good. Looking good. I love his team, man. I truly do love his team. And I can't believe the way that Amber is acting. I can't believe this. Like, somebody needs to tell her to calm it the fuck down. Calm it down. Because right now, you're looking like a villain. Sitting up there laughing and smiling and smirking and shit. Alright, y'all, we are back. Who is coming up now? What's the deal? What's going to
Thank you,
happen?
ladies and gentlemen. We're seated. All right, your next witness.
Your Honor, defendant calls Amber Heard.
All right.
Lord,
Stand,
here we
please.
go. Here we go. Look at this. Look at how she is walking up past. Look
Yes,
at
ma'am.
her. What did she forget?
Water.
Ew. Of course she needs her water. Wet her throat from them lies she's about to tell.
Thank you, ma'am. Just remind
Look
me
at
to
her.
both, okay? Of course,
I cannot believe. Does this look like a woman who has been brutally abused? Just look at.
Amber, just to orient you and the jury.
She's
at this
disoriented.
time,
You can't orient
we are
this
in
bitch.
rebuttal to your counterclaim against Mr. Depp, so I'm going to confine my questions to that, okay?
All right.
How have you suffered publicly as a result of the Depp Waldman statements?
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear it. It's your fault.
Objection, speculation.
Shut the fuck up.
Overruled.
I don't want to hear it. 6 years
am
Johnny went through this shit.
harassed,
6 years. You harassed Johnny.
Humiliated,
You humiliated Johnny.
threatened
You threatened Johnny.
every single day.
Every single day he was harassed, humiliated, and threatened.
Even just walking into this courtroom.
As you should be,
Sitting here
because you're a fucking liar.
in front of
Don't
the
sit
world.
up here and try to cry.
Having the worst parts of my life, things I've lived through, used to humiliate me.
Amber, you did this!
People want to kill me.
You did this to yourself! What the
Every day.
fuck?
People want to put my baby in the microwave.
Nobody wants to put your baby in the microwave. I have not seen that. They want to take your child because they don't think you can care for her because you need help.
Threatened.
You
Promise.
liar. You're so lying.
Promise me
No,
that if I ever left him,
no,
it'd make me think of him
no,
every single day
no,
that I
Amber.
lived.
No,
Objection,
Amber.
Honor, non-responsive.
No, Amber.
A sustained objection as to that, if you want to ask a question.
I can't believe she is doing this.
Amber, how did Mr. Depp's statements and threats to you that you were discussing,
She
How do
did
those
this to
continue to
herself.
manifest
He told her what was going to happen.
In the harassment and the humiliation.
You should be humiliated. You're
Against
lying.
me that's echoed.
You
every
had a
single
whole
day
campaign of PR
on
last
social
weekend on
media,
Twitter.
And now, in front of cameras, in this room,
Yep.
every single day I have to relive the trauma.
Yep.
My hands shake. I wake up screaming.
You
I have
should.
to live with the trauma and the damage done to me.
Nope. You
My
did
friends
it.
have to live with a set of unspoken rules.
Your friends
about
have to
how
live with the fact that
not
they
stealing
lied.
something
They sat up there and lied on your behalf.
unspoken rules. About how to not touch me, not to surprise me. My intimate partners have rules about how they can deal with me, how they can touch me.
Your intimate
I
partner.
have rules for doctors and medical professionals I see.
Whatever,
gynecologists I see.
Amber.
I live my life.
Yet
in
you
sets
sought
of
no medical
rules I have
attention.
to
You set
follow,
no
and
medical
to follow
attention.
for me not to have a panic attack or a
Oh
triggering
my
event
God.
where I relive the trauma. Even if I'm
Please.
training to do my movie, for instance, if I'm training for Aquaman, a combat scene, and a trigger happens. I
Look
have
at
to
how
melt down
hostile she is.
and have to deal with that. The crew I work with have to deal with that because of the damage I walk around with every single day from what I've lived through.
From what you
I'm
did
not
to yourself.
sitting in this courtroom snickering. I'm
You
not sitting in this courtroom.
Yes, you were!
Making snide jokes.
you were just
I'm
doing
not.
that
This is
yesterday.
horrible.
You were snickering, smiling, fucking
This is
laughing.
painful.
We all saw it.
This is humiliating for any human being.
It is humiliating. You did it. You dragged him in this shit because you wouldn't shut your mouth. I can't even close my mouth to hear her.
And even though Johnny promised that I deserve this and promised to do this, I
Wow.
didn't deserve this.
You deserve this and so much more.
Move on.
Nope. You didn't want to move on.
The attacks on me, the campaign, that Johnny has elicited millions of people to do on his behalf when he himself
Objection, Honorable
couldn't do
Locker
it.
Foundation.
Torture me.
Speculation.
Johnny didn't enlist anybody. We just see the truth and the lies that you put out for the world, and we're sick of it.
How have the Depp Waldman statements impacted your ability to do charitable work?
Look at this face, y'all.
You know,
I can't.
I would. The only reason that people like Dr. Kirby can sit up here on the stand and say I'm high functioning, I do things like have hobbies and have interests. is
Objection,
because I'm not-
non-responsive.
Your Honor, Mr. Depp gave long-winded responses yesterday.
It's because I found a solution to that pain.
Long-winded
I woke up every
responses.
morning
Look at Johnny.
with panic attacks and
You
trauma
need to
and
have them. I
to
don't
do something with
care.
it.
I have no
To
sympathy.
answer your question, Ben, it's
You did not have to do this.
I was able to turn the things that I've lived through, my
Oh,
pain,
God.
my life experience.
All my life I had to fight. Oh my God.
I'm not a saint. I'm not trying to.
What? You have sat up here and said that you were a saint. You never did nothing wrong in your life.
And being able to use what I've lived through to advocate for others, to bring light to these issues, to give a voice to
We
people
don't
who
want
have
you.
a voice in the
We don't
platform
want
that I
you.
have.
We do
Lord,
not
we
want
wish
you.
this
You don't need to
situation
advocate
were
for
worse
shit.
for
We don't
me.
want you. We do not take you,
If
Amber.
it gives a
Hell
voice to
no.
someone who doesn't have it.
Hell no.
But I now, as I stand here today, can't have a career.
Nope.
I can't even have people associate with me because
Nope.
of the threats and the attacks that
Nope.
they have to endure.
No. No. You can't have nobody associate with your fucking ass because you're a goddamn fucking liar. Nobody wants to put up with your
Amber, other
fucking
than
ass
the threats
because they
you
think it'll
described,
happen to
What
them.
other threats
Bullshit.
have you endured since the Depp Waldman statements were made?
Sitting up here crying, fake crying like this.
I receive hundreds of death threats regularly, if not daily. Thousands since this trial has started. People mocking
You should be mocked. Mocking you what you're doing right now
my
because look at
testimony
you.
about being assaulted.
Look at you!
Making
Because you're
fun of me.
fake.
Objection,
You're
relevance.
phony.
Non-responsive.
We can see right through it. Your phony ass.
You can continue.
It's been agonizing.
She's
Agonizing,
acting.
Painful.
It's agonizing.
humiliating.
It's humiliating.
Thing I've ever had to go through.
Oh my
I hope no one ever has to go through something like this.
Oh, they won't after this because ain't nobody gonna make up crazy fucking lies and try to ruin someone else's life for no goddamn reason.
Johnny, to leave me alone.
Bitch, are you kidding me? You were trying to text him to say happy birthday after you followed a TRO. You were trying to get in his bed. Are you kidding me? She's deranged.
What do you
She's
hope to reclaim
deranged.
after this is over?
You need to go crawl in a hole somewhere.
Protecting the secret that I did for as long as I did has taken enough of my voice.
Amber.
Johnny has taken enough of my voice.
Amber.
I have the right
Amber.
to tell my story.
You have the right to tell your
I have the
lies.
right to my voice and my name.
You do, and we have the right to speak up about how we feel about your lies and your bullshit story. How come you have the right to say your fucking lies, but we don't have a right to have a response on your lies? Look at her. Look at her. Look at. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I hope to get my voice back.
I thought it couldn't get any worse. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I've said that from day one.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Amber. I don't have anything else.
All right, cross-examination.
Shut the fuck up. You lie. Oh Lord. You gonna take a damn tissue. You about to start bawling, Amber? You about to start bawling?
Yes.
Oh Lord. I have never seen anyone clean their nose the way Amber does. Wow. Wow. I cannot believe she has sat up there whimpering, sitting there acting like she's about to cry, talking about all this harassment and shit she's gotten, talking about somebody wanted to put her baby in the microwave. Where the hell did that come from? I ain't never seen that. That's just awful. The baby has done nothing to anybody. So if anybody is saying that bullshit, you need to seek help as well. But I do feel like the child needs to be taken away from her because she is not well. I do not think that she is capable. She is severely, severely needing help and medical mental attention. Talking about some Johnny has taken her voice for so long when he has been silent for all this time. This is the first time he has spoke up and said anything. You have been sending pictures to TMZ. You have been on Twitter. You have been on IG responding to people, being a fucking asshole, putting out fucking op-eds. You have been running your fucking mouth. And you're sitting here talking about some millions of people which Johnny has brought in like we're on his payroll. No. Are you that deluded into not understanding that we all have our own thoughts and feelings and experiences and think that this is fucking foul what you are doing? Sitting up here fucking lying? And then trying to turn it all on a man who did nothing to you, gave you the fucking world, and it still wasn't enough? This is a tragic bitch. She is tragic. Tragic. I cannot believe this shit. I cannot believe she's trying to act like this, y'all. I cannot believe this shit. Is Camille crossing her? I hope to God. I hope to God Camille is crossing her. So sick of this bitch. Getting up here acting like she ain't done nothing to the fucking world and everybody's done shit to her. Some bullshit. You chose to go through with this. You did not have to do this. Ridiculous. Whitney in the courtroom. We got Whitney in the courtroom. Ha! Oh my God. Why is her mouth so tight? I mean, she's a real one to sit up there and show her face. After all this, yeah, she's a real one. Because I would be like, honey, you gonna have to do this on your own. You gonna have to do this on your own. And this ain't got shit to do with me. I will be there in spirit. Is that one of Johnny's friends? Because those are the security guards over there. Johnny be having fun with his team, laughing, talking, having snacks, and they fucking hate it. They hate that he's so at ease because he knows he's winning this shit. They hate it. Absolutely hate it. She's jealous. She wished that could be her. But her team hates her because she's made their lives literally miserable, made their lives harder. After coming out of this, their lives are going to be harder. She better have paid them. What she said, she spent $6 million over these years. Yeah, they going to need a real break. Go take that money they got, go invest it in something, and then go into hiding. All right, finally, let's get to the cross.
Ms. Heard, you just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that.
Yes, Camille, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Camille.
Your lies have been exposed to the world.
Your lies,
times, right?
multiple times, yes.
I haven't lied about anything I've been here to say.
Jesus Christ, Amber, come on,
You
come
sat
on.
here and told this jury that the events in Hicksville started with Mr. Depp getting really upset about a woman leaning on you. Is that correct?
Yep. That's what you said.
Yes, that's effectively what happened, yeah.
You testified that he actually grabbed that woman's wrist and twisted it, right?
And told her that he could effectively break her wrist by saying he knew how many pounds of pressure, asking her how many pounds of pressure it took to break a human wrist.
But your own witness, your former best friend, Rocky Pennington, she didn't corroborate that, did she?
Your own friend.
I'm not quite sure what part of that night she saw. There were a lot of people there.
She didn't testify that Mr. Depp grabbed anyone's wrist in Hicksville.
Again, I don't know what Rocky saw. There were a lot of people there that night.
You testified that once you brought Mr.
There was like
Depp back
12,
to your
13
trailer,
people.
trashed
That's not a
it,
lot.
Correct?
That is correct.
And the manager of the Hicksville trailer park was furious that Johnny had wrecked the whole thing. Do you remember that testimony?
Get her,
That's
Camille.
correct.
Get her,
We heard
Camille.
from that manager of the Hicksville trailer park
Yep.
Morgan Knight on Monday, didn't we?
We sure
I'm
did.
not quite sure
He
who
was
that
glorious.
guy was or if he had any involvement in this. I know a lot of people have come out of the woodwork to be in.
Bitch, you
involved.
came out the woodwork. You came the fuck
So you're
out the
accusing
woodwork.
Mr. Knight of testifying and committing perjury?
Right.
I'm not accusing anyone. I just don't
Because let's
recognize
talk
that.
about perjury, Amber.
You heard Mr.
You
Knight
better not
testify
go
that it was
there.
actually you who was upset with Mr. Depp spending time away from him. Isn't that correct?
Yep.
How would he know? He wasn't there.
You heard Mr. Knight.
He was
testify
there.
that
Look at
actually
Ben.
You was yelling at Mr. Depp.
Again, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things to be involved in the Johnny Depp show, but he wasn't there. He doesn't know. And he
Wow,
certainly
look
doesn't
at
know what
Ben.
happened behind closed doors, like most people.
So you're calling Mr. Knight a liar?
Yep.
I am saying he wasn't there, and what he testified to doesn't match what I know happened.
So now
But I don't
Mr.
know
Morgan
if
Knight
he
wasn't
there.
there.
How would he know?
So now he
testified
wasn't
that
there.
was heard. Did you hear that?
That's
He
his
said he
testimony,
showed
yes.
y'all
So you're calling
around.
him a liar.
You're calling him a liar.
I'm just saying he wasn't there.
You're a
You
liar.
heard Mr. Knight testify that the trailer wasn't trashed, and that's why you're calling him a liar.
Right.
He testified that a light fixture was broken, similar to the way that
Yes,
John
That's
Depp
it.
used
It's only a
closet
light
being
fixture.
rearranged.
Shut up, Amber. Shut up, Amber.
The only thing that was broken in
Was
the
a
trailer,
light.
according to Mr. Knight,
Was a light.
fixture.
Was a
Yes or
light
no?
fixture.
I
Yes or
realize
no?
that he summed it up. by
Look at
saying
Camille.
that
Get her,
the fixture was
Camille.
broken.
Get her,
Just the way
Camille.
his security guard
Get
summed up
in
him trashing
her
my closet
fucking
as being
ass.
Your
rearranged.
Honor, I'm going to move to strike everything after
Yes.
he summed it up that it was a light fixture as non-responsive.
Answer the question, Your Honor.
No, it didn't.
In the security guard testimony, Your Honor,
I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Mr. Knight also testified that he charged Mr. Depp only $62 for the damaged light fixture. You heard that, correct?
I did.
In Hicksville, you were the only one that was jealous that Mr. Depp was spending time from other people.
Yep.
Isn't that correct, Ms. Hurd?
That is incorrect.
It is
In
correct.
Hicksville, you were the one who was upset that Mr. Depp wasn't giving you enough attention.
That is correct.
Incorrect again.
Ms. Hurd, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember
Another
that
lie.
testimony?
Go through all
I
the
said it
lies,
did not have
Camille.
anything to do with it. Yes.
And that was a lie.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex-party TRO on May 27th, 2016.
Yep.
Do you remember that testimony?
That's what
I
you said.
apologize. I must have misunderstood Ms. Vasquez.
Ew.
I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing a
Objection, Your
TRO,
Honor, this is not
we had no
responsive.
reason to
Move to
believe the
strike.
press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can. Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive. Just if you just answer the questions.
Just answer the questions, Amber. You
In fact,
know
you
what?
testified that you were, quote, shocked when you saw press when you were leaving the courthouse. Yes?
Yes.
You weren't shocked at all, though, were you?
Nope.
Incorrect. It was
You knew the press
horrifying.
would be at the courthouse, right, Ms. Hurd?
And you agreed to
No.
display your fake ass
Well, you
bruise
did
to the
bring a
camera.
publicist to the courthouse with you on May 27th, 2016,
Yep.
didn't you?
I sure did. I'm a public figure. I brought my publicist in case it blew up. In
Ew.
case.
You
And
actually had
I did.
alerted TMZ that you would be filing a TRO against Mr. Depp that very
No,
day,
I did
didn't
not.
you?
Yes, you did.
No, I did
The
not.
one day
Yes,
you
you
didn't
did.
bother to wear makeup to cover up
The
mark
one
on your
day.
face.
I did not call TMZ or any other news source or paparazzi source. No one. I
You
never
heard
did that.
testimony from former TMZ employee Morgan Tremaine yesterday, correct?
Did I hear his testimony?
Yes.
Yes, I was here.
Yeah. And you heard Mr. Tremaine's testimony that he knew to dispatch the paparazzi to the courthouse on
Yep.
May 27th, right?
I heard him say that he knew that, yes.
Yeah, and that he dispatched paparazzi to the courthouse to capture a picture of an alleged bruise on the right side of your face. Do you remember him saying that?
I
Yep.
remember him saying that.
That information must have come from your team, right, Ms. Hurd?
Absolutely not. Why would I want that? What actual survivor of domestic violence wants that?
Exactly, Amber. What actual survivor of domestic violence would actually want that? Because you aren't
Well,
one.
the video of Mr. Depp beating up
You
in
sat
the
here
kitchen
saying
cabinet,
you wear
admit that
makeup
you
all
took
the
that
time.
video,
This was the
correct?
one day you didn't wear
Yes, I
fucking
did.
makeup.
And you acknowledge
Fuck
that the
outta
video
here.
was released online the day before you were deposed in connection with your divorce from Mr. Depp in August of 2016, right?
I believe it was, yes.
But you testified that you had absolutely nothing to do with the video's release, right?
Absolutely not.
You
Lie.
testified that you learned about it when you landed after flying into LA. Do you remember that testimony?
Upon touchdown is when I was alerted to the video's
You
existence.
heard Mr.
online.
Tremaine testify about this video as well yesterday, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ received the cabinet video the same day you landed at LAX. Yes?
Yep.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's what his testimony was. I'm
You
sorry.
heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the cabinet video was posted 15 minutes after TMZ received it. Yes?
That's what I heard him say.
And that this could only have been possible if the video was received directly from the source. Yes?
I heard him say that. I don't know if that's true or if that's possible. Because
And
it
you
didn't come
heard
from me, I was
Mr.
flying.
Tremaine
So
testify.
I know that's incorrect, is what I mean to say.
Ew, Amber,
Another
for
line
real.
on the stand.
I just know that that's incorrect.
And you heard Mr. Tremaine testify that TMZ
Camille,
owns the
come for her
copyright to the
fucking
cabinet
ass.
video, right?
Oh my god.
That's news to me.
The cabinet video you filmed of your then husband. Yes?
The copyright ownership of that is news to me. I learned that yesterday.
It's the cabinet video that you captured of your then husband. Yes?
That is correct. I did capture that video, and
The
yes,
cabinet
that was
video-
my husband.
The same cabinet
Ew!
video was released the night before you were deposed in your divorce. Yes?
That's correct.
You must have also heard Mr. Tremaine testify that the version of the cabinet video
Wow.
that TMZ received was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw in this trial. Did you hear that?
Because you cut
The
it.
video that the jury that you have seen is complete.
Right. But the one TMZ got the day before your deposition in the divorce was incomplete.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
The
You
day
testified
before
that
the
beginning
deposition,
portion of the
honey.
video where you set up the camera,
Look at her
that
face.
was included in the video that TMZ received.
I don't know.
Camille
what video
gets under her
TMZ
skin,
I'm talking
honey.
about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Hurd.
Right.
Let's just
You're
focus on
asking me to
Mr.
repeat
Tremaine.
his testimony.
Get
No,
it.
I'm asking
Oh,
you
bitch, you
recall
want to get
hearing him
snippy?
say those words
You
to
want to
Ms.
get
Hurd.
snippy?
Yes, I heard his testimony.
This is
So-
the real Amber,
And he
y'all.
testified at the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I
Smirking.
know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking.
Get her,
I
Camille.
disagree with that.
Not
Get her,
including-
Camille.
also not including the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
I thought you thought it was funny.
Right, Ms. Hurd?
So, what are
No,
you
it did
talking
not.
about,
You
Amber?
That
edited
video
out
did not come to
portions.
me. That
Ms.
didn't
Hurd,
come from me.
It did come from you.
You edited out portions.
How did it get on your computer then? If it was on your phone or fucking computer, how did it get to
So that I wanted to
TMZ?
leak information, I could have done it in a more effective way, a lot sooner and a lot more.
Whatever.
I was really how to do
You did it the day before your
I wanted to leak it. I should have done
deposition.
a
You
lot
had
more.
intention. You had reason.
I thought you testified earlier. in this
Nobody's
trial that you
believing
didn't know how to
this.
leak things.
I don't.
Please.
You edited that video before you gave it to TMZ so that only Mr. Depp would look bad. Yes?
That's
Yes.
absurd.
Right in the
Bitch,
middle
you
of
are
the
absurd. You're exactly
Again,
right. You're
You're
absurd.
very wrong.
You are very wrong. Lying ass. Camille, please. I love
I'd
it.
like to
Please.
show you,
Shut
a
this
picture
bitch
of
down.
That's already admitted into evidence.
Show us a
It's,
picture,
Defendant's
Camille.
Exhibit
Show us a
799.
picture, please. Because I'm getting fucking pissed because she's up here on this stand trying to act like she ain't done a fucking thing. Got attitude, head twisting and turning, fucking neck snapping and shit.
This
Who
is
the
your
fuck do you
courthouse
think
on
you
May 27th,
are?
2016, when you got your domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, right?
It is.
And next to you is a woman named Jody Gottlieb, right?
Yes, yes.
Jody
Your
Gottlieb
photo
is your
shoot at the
publicist.
courthouse.
And dear friend.
Now I'd like to show you what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1316. This is a picture of you and your friend Rocky Pennington, right?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I'd like
Show
to
it,
move
Camille.
to admit this photograph.
Publish
Any
it.
objection to 1316?
Publish it.
No, Your Honor.
All right, 1316 minutes, we'll publish the jury.
This is a picture of you on May 28th,
So tired of her.
2016, right, Ms. Hurd?
I don't know when this was taken.
This is the day after
The
you
day
obtained
after
domestic
your
violence
TRO,
restraining order
smiling,
against
not
Mr. Depp,
one
right?
bruise.
I have no idea when
No
this,
bruise
when this
and
was
no
taken.
makeup.
I did not take it.
There's no bruise on your face. in
There's
this
no
picture, is there?
bruise. Thank you.
Again,
Pull it
I
up,
don't know
Camille.
when this was taken, and also I'm outside. I was obviously wearing
Pull it
makeup.
up, Camille.
I have no
Yes,
idea when
zoom
this
in
was
on
taken,
it.
So I have no idea if I can
Let's
speak to
refresh
what.
your
There is no
recollection.
makeup on
Let's
your
refresh
face.
recollection about when this picture
Let's
was taken.
refresh it.
Can you
Let's
please
refresh
put,
it.
Plaintiff's Exhibit 13.
Hell yes.
Just for the record.
Yes. 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 Pull this
This is an
shit up.
article dated
Explain
May
it,
30th,
Amber.
2016, right, Ms. Hurd?
That's what it says, yes.
And this article contains the same photograph of you and Miss Pennington we were just looking at. Yes?
Yes, I
Let's
see that.
go.
And the article is entitled Amber Heard Smiles as She Puts Arm Around Friend One
Yep.
Day After
One
Getting Restraining
day.
Order Against Johnny Depp.
Hell
Is that
yeah.
what the title says?
It is.
I know that's what the title says, yes.
So
Your
you
Honor,
saying
I'm
that
gonna
this
move
is
to
a lie?
admit and publish the article with everything but the headline and date and the photo redacted.
Come on, Camille.
Objection, Your Honor. That's inconsistent in the way you treated all of these.
Hell
I
yes.
just take the objection.
Sustain. Shut the fuck up.
Let's take a look at picture Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317.
Let's take a look. Let's
This
take
is
a
also a
look.
picture of you and Miss Pennington on May 28th, 2016, isn't it?
I don't know when this photo was taken, but it looks like the same outing as the picture prior.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to admit and publish Plaintiff's Exhibit 1317.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
1317 in evidence should be published.
There's no bruise on your face in this picture either, right?
Nope.
I disagree. If
Where?
it is taken when you represent it was taken, then obviously there's a bruise on my face.
Where,
That's
Amber?
per usual.
She's gaslighting the world.
For a moment, please.
Amber, where is the bruise?
That's Josh Drew in this
She's
picture,
saying
right?
obviously there's a
Yes.
bruise if it's the
That's
day
correct.
that we're
Miss
saying
Pennington,
after the
that is correct.
TRO.
In there too.
Whoa.
Submitted a sworn statement on your behalf in
Yes.
support of your domestic violence restraining order, didn't
Yes,
she?
get her, Camille.
I believe she did, yes.
Oh
Mr.
my
Drew also
God.
submitted a statement in support of your domestic violence restraining order.
I believe they both did, yes. Mhm.
Oh my God. Lies
Mr.
being
I'd like to show you
debunked.
Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is already in evidence. You've seen this photograph before, right?
I have.
On the second day of your direct testimony, you testified that this was taken in the downstairs of the main apartment on
Yep.
December 15th, 2015.
Get her,
Do you recall that
Camille.
testimony?
You recall?
Yes, I believe so.
Then bring up the same
So
picture
your
she used
testimony
for
that
another
Defendant's
day.
Exhibit 512 reflects damage to Penthouse 5 that occurred during the December 15th, 2015.
God, I love this.
Yes?
I'm not quite sure from what.
What
incident
are
this
you
is
sure
when I see
of,
this
Amber?
photo in a vacuum without context.
Let's give you that context.
Let's give it to her,
Can
Camille.
we-
Ah!
You can have day 16 trial testimony.
Give it to her, Camille. You want to sit up there and be a fucking smart ass? Okay. Okay, smart ass. I can't stand this woman, y'all. I cannot stand this woman. I don't hate anybody. I think hate is a strong word. It's a very strong word. But I can say that I strongly
Could you please turn
dislike
first to
this
page
woman.
4585?
Disgusting sitting up here acting like you ain't never done a goddamn thing, then say, oh, I'm not trying to make myself out to be a saint. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Disgusting. You use that same picture for another fucking
Specifically
incident.
starting on line 16, where it
Let me
says,
take a
let's
toke.
talk about December 15th, 2015.
You said 458. Oh, four. I'm on 4485. Sorry, you said
Yeah,
45.
get it together.
4, 5.
Get it together, Amber.
Line 16.
Get it together. Can you read?
Line 16, where it says, let's talk about December 15th, 2015. You see that?
Yes.
And then do you see that your testimony about December 15th, 2015 follows?
Let's see. It's just the first line or two. Yes.
Okay. Now I'd like you to turn to page 4603. Starting at line 12. 4603. Starting at line 12 and going on to page 4604, line 4.
Okay.
And do you see that you testified that Defendant's Exhibit 512, which is on the screen,
Yes.
is a picture of the downstairs of the main apartment?
Get her.
That's correct.
And the
Get
main apartment
her.
is Penthouse 5 in the Eastern Columbia building, right?
No, well, depends on
Her
what. The main apartment's
stupid
penthouse
line
3
ass.
generally when we say main apartment.
Thinking she was going to
Penthouse
get away
5
with all of
is
this.
where you have your closet.
The downstairs is kind of like had some of my
Disgusting.
painting studio set up and a
Despicable.
reception area. Upstairs was the closet. Mezzanine office was in between.
All right, so it's your testimony that Defendant's Exhibit 512 reflects damage to the penthouse 5, that occurred during the December 15th, 2015 incident, right?
I'm just not sure from which incident this is a picture of, since I'm only looking at
Even
a
though your
partial
counsel
floor.
was asking you questions about December 15th, 2015, and then admitted this
Right.
this picture into evidence
Right.
Again,
in
in
relation to
isolation.
that incident.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
In relation to that incident on December 15th, 2015. This exhibit, Defendant's Exhibit, you are the defendant, number 512, was admitted into evidence in this court. You testified that this was the result of damage that occurred on December 15th, 2015. Yes or no?
Yes or no?
I just need to orient myself because I'm just looking at a picture of a partial.
No,
You're
picture
not
was
gonna
taken,
ever
just
get
look at the
oriented,
picture.
honey, because it's
You look at the
lies.
You
Lies
put me towards
the
picture
house.
and asked me a question. I haven't actually reviewed it. I don't know if this was submitted in relation to that incident.
Let's pull up.
She's just gonna circle her
let's
way and
actually
talk
pull
her
up
way out of
Defendant's
this
512.
shit.
Please
Like she
pull up
don't fucking
Defendant's
know what's
Exhibit
going on.
725,
We see it, honey. We see
which is already
it.
in evidence
Thank
in redacted form, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You published.
Just side by side. You've seen this photograph as well, right?
I have.
On the third day of your direct testimony, you testified that this photograph reflected spilled wine in Penthouse 5 on May 21st, 2016, didn't you?
Didn't you?
Again, I don't know because I'm looking at a partial picture of a floor. So unless you remove the metadata you've
It's
covered
the
up,
shit that
we
you
can
have
then tell.
fucking
If you
I didn't cover
remove-
it up, Your Honor.
Could we unredact
Your Honor.
them so we could get context?
That's how it's in evidence.
That's how it's in evidence.
Next
Well,
question.
the metadata next to it is so that
Ms. Heard,
witnesses-
Ms.
Ms. Heard,
Heard, there's
Ms.
no
Heard.
question pending, and I would appreciate it if you would
If
be
you
making
shut the
argument
fuck
to
up
the jury.
until you
Sorry,
were
I thought you
asked
were
a
asking about
question.
I didn't
Damn.
ask you about anything.
Dumb bitch.
Let's look at your direct testimony from the third day.
Stupid bitch. God. How's she gonna get up here and just sit there like she was fucking crying earlier and now look at her ass? All types of attitude. Yeah, she was sitting there sobbing and dry heaving, about to fall the fuck out earlier. Now she wanna run her fucking mouth, won't shut up. Won't answer questions.
Let's turn to page 4750 in day 17 transcript.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
4750. Specifically line 16.
Specifically.
See where Ms. Bredehoff asked you to describe for the jury what took place on May 21st, 2016?
I see that.
And you see that your testimony is reflected about May 21, 2015?
Yes.
That follows? Okay.
Yes.
Now let's turn to page 4804
Let's turn to it.
at line 14. 4804. Starting at line 14
Yes.
through
She's so
4805
combative.
line 4.
Like, she just won't do right. She don't cooperate. She just, god damn, that's how
going
she's
to what
lived her
line?
whole life.
Line 4 at 4805. Do you see that you're testifying that defendant's exhibit 725, which is reflected on the right side, reflects spilled wine on the floor in Penthouse 5?
That's correct.
Okay. And defendant's exhibit 512 and 725 seem to be different versions of the same picture, don't they?
That's correct.
So which is it? Which one was taken on December 15th,
Which is it?
2015?
Which is
or
it?
May 21st, 2016?
Which is it, Amber?
If you remove the redacted metadata, you can find out.
You know what?
It's right there.
Or if you're telling the truth,
Or if
you
you're
would
telling the truth, you would know.
Recognize a portion of a spilled wine on a floor, and I'm supposed to know off the top of my head when you
No.
live through 5 years of this stuff? I don't think so. That's not how that works.
Oh, the real Amber's coming out, y'all. The real attitude
Her
Amber's
beginning of your
coming out.
cross-examination last
Ron, may we
week.
approach?
Yes.
The real Amber the Heard is coming out with the attitude. This is the Amber I heard on the audio. Amber probably couldn't wait to see Camille Vasquez again. She probably has dreams of Camille Vasquez. You know, hates her but kind of doesn't hate her. You know what I mean? This bitch. I'm sorry. I really need to stop cussing. I've heard people saying I need to stop cussing. It's hard when dealing with this complete insanity. This woman just told us in those pictures they pulled up of her and Rocky and Josh Drew, whatever the hell his name is, after the TRO, the day after, sitting there telling us, well, there's a bruise on my face if it was the day that you told me. But we're looking at the picture and there's nothing. Do y'all understand how sick that is? That she can just sit up there and say that with a fucking
Ladies and
straight
gentlemen in the
face?
gallery, I would ask that there be no words or no phrases, no words, no sounds at all coming from you. If I hear one more sound, I will clear the gallery and we will continue this testimony without anybody in the courtroom.
Ooh,
Understood?
I'm
Good.
sure Amber would
All right,
love
thanks,
that. Ooh, y'all better shut the hell up. Don't ruin this for us.
Last week, I showed you an audio where you told Mr. Depp to tell the jury, tell the judge, tell the world that
Tell the
he's
world.
a victim of domestic abuse. Do you
And
remember
that's
that?
where we're at.
That's correct.
And
You
that's what we're
testified and found
doing.
it hard to
Yet you
believe
wanted to
that Mr.
sit
Depp
there
would
and
tell the
fucking
world
cry about
that
it.
he's a victim
You
of
told him to
domestic
do it.
abuse. Didn't you?
Didn't you?
I said I find it hard to believe that he would do that knowing that he himself had beat me up for 5 years.
But he has told the world that he's your victim of domestic abuse, hasn't he?
Yep.
Well, he started to say that only recently. He didn't make that claim up until very recently. So when we signed our divorce agreement and we signed
Amber.
a statement saying that neither party had ever said false claims for financial gain.
He was
it
still trying to
relevant
protect
in
your
court
ass
because
back
I was
then.
the
He
only
didn't
one
want
making
this
the
drama,
accusations. I was
bitch.
the only one making those claims. He wasn't doing that at the time. And he signed his name to it.
He
You
did
didn't
not
expect
want this
many people to show
drama.
up and testify on his behalf.
No, she
Did
didn't.
you?
Incorrect.
When you told this jury under oath that you never assaulted, when you told this jury under oath that you punched Mr. Depp because you thought of Mr. Depp pushing Kate Moss down the stairs, you didn't expect Ms. Moss to testify.
Nope,
that
she
never
didn't.
happened. Did you?
Nope.
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be
Out of
in
the
support
woodwork.
of Johnny.
So you think
Clear by
Ms.
this
Moss
courtroom
needs
how
to
many
come
people
out
will
of the
do that.
woodwork to testify for Mr. Depp?
Everybody who is around.
Unlike you,
90
she has
early aughts
jobs.
knew that rumor. I had heard that rumor from multiple people. Of course, that's what flashed through my
So
head.
why-
when
that's
my
hearsay.
husband
So why
not
say
only
it?
swung for me, but all of a sudden swung for my sister.
That's
Of
never
course I thought that.
happened.
I did not expect her to show up or not expect her to show up. It didn't matter. It doesn't change what I believe.
Look at her
the time.
attitude, y'all.
When we
Do
were
y'all
on the
see
stairs
how
and I
she's
thought he
fucking
was gonna kill my
changed?
sister, I pushed
This
her
is
down the
exactly
stairs.
what they wanted. This is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to get up under Amber Heard's fucking skin so she could show the true Amber Heard to the fucking jury. Not this Amber Heard, she's been sitting up here trying to act whimpering and shit. We wanted to see this. We wanted to get this indignant fucking bitch, this arrogant fucking bitch. We wanted to see this. This is Amber, and it gets way dark, and it gets real nasty.
You told this jury under oath that Mr. Depp was aggressive and trashed a trailer in Hicksville. You didn't expect the manager of the Hicksville property, Morgan Knight, to come forward
She
and testify that that was untrue, did you?
She thought everybody was just going to fall in line with her
I know how many
lies.
people will come out in support of him.
When you told this jury under oath that you had no idea that the paparazzi would be at the courthouse on May 27th,
Go through it,
2016,
Camille.
you didn't expect a TMZ employee
Go
to
through
show
it.
up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of.
Right,
Did you?
exactly what side.
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. Is
Go
I was
ahead,
speaking
Camille.
to that phenomenon. How many people will come out?
So
and
you just
support
said
of
it was
him
about
and then
him.
fall to his power.
So did
He's
she
a
just
very
not admit that
powerful
it's
man,
about
and people
him?
love
That it's
currying
about
favor
Johnny?
with powerful men.
Currying
And I know
favor
that
and
firsthand. I've
risking
lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury?
Ooh.
Excuse me? I didn't hear your
You
question.
didn't hear
Excuse
my
me.
question?
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind, please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom?
Yes.
I have
For
seen
a
people
powerful
do this.
man?
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
You didn't expect the King house manager in Australia to show up
Nope.
from England. He flew from England to testify that Mr. Depp's fingertip was found exactly where he said it would be. Did you?
I have never heard Johnny testify to knowing where his finger was, or really, frankly, making a claim that he knew where it was when it was found. I've never heard Johnny claim that.
You didn't expect
Johnny,
Keenan Wyatt.
Johnny has never
Ms.
actually
Heard.
said that.
Ms. Heard.
And,
I think the jury can.
yes.
Ms. Heard, there's no question pending. You didn't expect Keenan Wyatt, Mr. Depp's longtime sound technician, to show up and testify that Mr. Depp was not being fed lines through his earpieces, but instead music.
Oh,
Did you?
Camille, yes.
Not that
I'm
matters
over
much,
here
but
dying.
Of course I did. I know how his employees treat him.
So you
I know how
You
his-
fucking
Of course I
liar.
expected
It's
that.
being
So you probably
proven,
expected
fucking
Isaac Bruce to
liar.
come
Oh
and
my
testify for
God.
Mr. Depp, right?
Oh my God.
I'm not sure I thought about that.
Yeah. But you didn't
Of
expect
course.
Mrs. Baruch to weep. To weep
To weep.
for Mr. Depp.
To weep for Mr.
After
Depp.
what you've put him
After
through.
what
and so
you
many
put
others
him
with
through.
your lives.
I
Did you?
relate to Isaac because he and I are the
There's no
only
further
ones who
questions.
There's no further questions. Thank you. Yes! Yes, Camille. Yes, Camille. Yes, Camille. Boom.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's done.
Ms. Heard, if
It's
Mr.
done.
Baruch felt misled,
It's done.
who misled him?
It's fucking done. Fuck you, bitch.
I'm
Fuck
going to be
you.
fine. This is horrible.
It is horrible. You made
Ms.
it
Vasquez
horrible.
suggested
You dumb
fake
bitch.
bruises on your face. Is
Yes,
that true?
Camille.
Absolutely not. I didn't need to.
Did you ever
Oh.
fake an injury
Yes.
caused by Mr. Depp?
Yes, she did.
No.
Is any
You
of the
liar.
evidence of your injuries that has been put to the jury in this trial
You
fake?
fucking
No,
lie.
absolutely not.
And to the extent that there may be some confusion over when a picture of spilled wine was taken,
Oh
why
my
might
God.
that be?
Objection.
There's so
Lack of
many-
foundation.
Overruled. Because there's so
Wow.
many incidents of violence. There's so many pictures. There's so much evidence. Most people don't have this kind of evidence for years.
What evidence, bitch?
Years.
What
And I was saying that
evidence?
to Johnny on the
What are
phone
you
and that
talking
recording. I was
about?
saying for years this has been going on, and I have pictures, we
Girl.
have text, we have everything. Normally you don't get this amount of evidence. That's what I was pointing out to Johnny. It would be crazy to try to challenge this in this way. It's crazy. It's easy to not know the context of a picture of spilled wine because there are so many more important details, pictures, and also so much I didn't photograph, so much I didn't have the presence.
Objection,
of mind to
non-responsive.
document. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Did Mr. Depp abuse you physically?
Yes.
Verbally?
I'm on Twitter.
Yes.
She did admit it. She
Yes.
did admit she wrote it about
Psychologically.
him. She said
Yes.
that shit. She did. I was like, she just admit. She
How did the
did.
threats that Mr. Depp made against
Baited
you
the
individually
fuck out of her.
years ago
Hell yes, Camille.
resemble what you
Hell
did
yes.
as a result of the Depp Waldman
Fuck
statements?
yes.
Beyond the scope of cross, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Hell yeah.
Johnny promised.
You
me,
can't come back from that.
Promised me
You can't come
money.
back from that.
that he'd ruin my career, he'd take my life from me. Death was the only way out. And if I got out, this is what he'd do to me. He'd make me think of him every single day. He promised me global humiliation. You saw those texts. What he couldn't do.
You
work of
can't
one
come back from
individual
there,
named
Amber.
Johnny,
You just
that
admitted
he
with
was
your whole
inviting a
chest.
disgruntled employee over for
Your
a slap
whole
to
chest.
fix my flabby ass up.
This is what we
That
were here
revenge that
for.
he
It's
sought
done.
after was just what he could
It's
do as
a
an individual.
fucking
Calling the
wrap.
studio to get me fired, trying to block him.
Yes,
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of
Camille.
foundation,
Yes,
speculation.
Camille.
Hearsay,
It's all in
non-responsive.
I'll sustain a non-response.
Hit her, Camille. Hit him.
Ms. Hart,
Oh
how
my
did
God.
those things that you just testified to
Oh,
that Mr.
Jesus
Depp
Christ.
did, how did those resemble what
Oh,
happened to
my
you after
God.
the Depp-Waldman counterclaim statements were made?
Those are
Objection, Your
just
Honor. Lack of foundation.
She's...
overruled.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Those are just an echo of what I'm living through today. It's like what I'm living in right now. What you see in this courtroom is an echo. This courtroom and the other courtroom he dragged me into to do the same thing again. That's just an echo of the violence and the abuse that I suffered within our relationship. The campaigns to have me fired, the blocking me to try to ruin my career, the threats he's made to humiliate me globally. are being lived out in real time in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 6 weeks and for the whole world since our camera's here.
No further questions. Thank you so much, Amber.
All right.
That was terrible.
Next to your attorneys.
Oh, Jesus. Get the fuck
Can I
off
get
the
the attorney's
stand.
approach?
Your lying ass. Sit your lying ass. I just want her to trip. I want someone to put their leg out and trip her. Ew. I know Ben was like, ew, let me move out the way from this. Oh my God, with her whole chest. With her whole chest. Wow. That was excellent. That was excellent.
Witness?
Your Honor, the counterclaimant Amber Heard rests.
All right. Thank
Oh,
you, ma'am.
Lord.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you
A
have
little
heard
late
all the
for
evidence
that.
you're going to hear in this matter. What I propose doing is to go ahead and give you the rest of the afternoon off so you can have a good restful afternoon and evening, and we will do closing arguments tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and then the case will be submitted to you for deliberations. Just to give you
Right.
a little logistics of how that will go. Tomorrow, I won't give you a time limit as far as how long you can deliberate in the afternoon into the evening. I will tell you, within reason, I will tell you I do not serve dinner, so keep that in mind, okay? You will not be deliberating on Saturday or Sunday or
Interesting.
Monday, because Monday is a holiday. I would like you to have you back here Tuesday morning, at least by 9 o'clock. If you want to come earlier, that's up to you. You can decide as a group if you want to come earlier than 9 o'clock, but you have to be here at least by 9 o'clock just to resume your deliberations again. And again on Tuesday night, and if you have to go to Wednesday or Thursday, that the time that when you take your breaks is up to you, as long as you take them together, as far as not having any deliberations unless all of the jurors are in the room at the same time. When you take your lunch is up to you. And then again in the evening, within reason, I'll let you go as long as you'd like to go, okay? So have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, okay? Do not discuss the case with anybody, don't do any outside research.
Wow. So we're off early for the afternoon. Closing tomorrow. They finally just rested. This was fucking wild. I am so glad I got to see the fireworks with Camille and Amber. Literally,
We'll
boom.
go ahead and take a
She admitted with
modified
her
lunch recess
whole
just till 12:50.
chest.
We'll come back at 12:50.
She
We got
wrote the
some jury instructions
op-ed
left we have to do.
about
Make sure we get
Johnny.
the verdict form taken care of.
Wow.
And review the laptop that we have mocked up and make sure you
Wow.
have what's on it. And also I want you to look through all your exhibits and make sure we're all on the same page. Before you leave, I'll make sure you have copies of the jury instructions in the order that I'm going to read them, and you should be able to prepare for your closing arguments for tomorrow, okay? All right, we'll see you at 12:50 then.
All right.
Wow. 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 That was amazing. That was incredible. Woo! That was incredible. Wow. Wow. I'm in shock and awe. They really did that shit. They did the damn thing. Wow. 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 Colonel Kirk said, hashtag Amber Heard didn't have to take the stand. This was hashtag God's gift to Johnny Depp, a final and incontrivable validation for him. After a long war to clear his name, we all saw her for what she is, and congrats to Camille Vasquez for her Tom Cruise moment. Because she literally admitted, just admitted to the jury on stand that she wrote the op-ed about him with her whole chest. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. That was excellent. From beginning to end, Johnny's team, Camille, Ben, just Wayne, just incredible work. Incredible work. I am so happy that I got to witness this, because if it was not televised, Johnny fought so hard. If it was not televised, this would be going completely differently. This woman legit got up there and tried to tell us. It really, for me, lost it. Like, I had already had no respect for this woman. I already thought that she was evil. I already thought like the worst of the worst about her. But when she sat up there and tried to tell the jury and tell everybody fucking watching in the courtroom at home that we are seeing a bruise on her face, and those pictures of her and Raquel and Josh walking out when she's smiling and laughing and shit, I was like, you're deranged. And this is her leaving. Get the fuck out. You lying. You're a snake. You're a demon. Like, you're not even real. Like Johnny said in the audio, like, you are not even real. What is he showing her on the phone? He showed her something on the phone. And she was like, damn, yeah. So something happened. By now, she has to be fucked up and admitted on the fucking stand that she wrote it about him, because she was getting all flustered and fired up and wanting to have so much goddamn attitude with Camille and trying to be all snippy and shit. And there you go. You done ran your mouth too much. Whole time saying that Johnny had this campaign, had this PR campaign to try to attack you, and you've been so harmed and mistreated and harassed and this, that, and the whole time he's been silent. We ain't heard nothing from Johnny. Johnny hasn't been posting pictures of himself on IG and shit. He has 20 pictures on his IG. Anytime you go on your dang on Twitter, there's pictures and pictures and pictures of you. You and the baby. You making comments and responding back to people and being rude as hell. Talking about Johnny has taken your voice and you're taking your voice back. Your voice was never taken. You stayed fucking talking. That's what got you in this mess to begin with. You stayed fucking talking, and now you talked yourself too fucking much, where you have now just admitted on the last day on the stand in front of the world that you wrote this op-ed, and that is why we're here. You're done. You're done. You're and you said it right. You will never work again. You will never work again, Amber. You will never in life work again. Jesus, that was beautiful. It was beautiful. Beautiful. more day, y'all. One more day. That's how the case ended. I'm fucking crying. That is what the jury was left with. Glorious. Yes! Glorious! Ooh. There is no way Amber's team thought this was a good idea. Amber wanted this. She had to have. She had to have, because I'm like, she did not need to get back up on that stand to say what? More lies? For what reason? More lies to be picked apart? Why would you do that? But I guess if that's her team, she's like, alright, whatever. This shit's fucked anyway. She still gotta fucking pay us. So just... Someone said, Ian Runke said, hello, Fairfax County Police. I just witnessed a murder. She killed her. Wow. Camille just gave us the disco bloodbath on that cross. She sure did. Woo! This was, oh my God, this was everything. Right, everyone is committing perjury by Amber. Exactly, how could that be? How could that possibly be? Y'all, I was so hyped. I was so fucking hyped. Oh my God. Johnny zoomed out today. He's out for the afternoon. That's great. I'm glad that they gave them an early afternoon. Just to like, especially after that, there's nothing else that needs to be said. Like, there's nothing else that needs to be said at all. Fuck. When Amber says she did not recognize Knight, the entire room gasped. Exactly. He literally said that he took you guys around on a tour of the fucking place, and yet you don't recognize this man saying he came out the woodwork. So are you saying that this is not the manager of the place? So this is just some random man who decided to call himself Mr. Knight and put everything. Do you not think he was verified and vetted before getting to this point? All you know, everything matched up. Obviously, he's the owner, so we can say that in a court of law. She just thinks they picked a random man off the street and put him on the stand and said he was Ben Knight, owner of the Hicksville Trailer Palace. That's what she's saying. Girl. Ooh.
Now, I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me.
Ew, that was kind of scary, hearing Rottenborn's voice just come out of my... Ugh, that was scary. That, like, ugh, my heart dropped. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Amber looked very distressed today. She had great trouble hiding it, and the jury noticed. Yeah, she should be distressed. She should be. Camille is awesome. That's why I wrote this op-ed. Amber just admitted she wrote the op-ed about Johnny. I swear to God. This case is over. The op-ed, she wrote it. She just admitted to it 3 times in a row. We are witnessing a complete annihilation here. It's fucking incredible. It was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see. She's sitting there talking about some, most people don't have this amount of evidence. Yeah, neither do you. You have nothing. How could she? This is how crazy and whacked this chick is. She can get up on this stand and say most people don't have this much evidence when all your evidence has been proven as lies. You have nothing. This woman needs to be taken in a straitjacket right now. Right now. I'm a human being. Then prove it, Amber. Right, because you're not acting really human-like. You're acting like you are an alien. A literal alien. Wow. This is crazy. This is complete madness. Oh my god, what do you want? Oh, okay, that was actually a nice email. I'm sick of working. God, now does this mean, like, now I get to watch all, like, everybody's reactions to her, like, admitting to this shit. Like, oh my god, like, this is gonna be so good. I'm so hyped. Oh my god, there's no way she's winning this. Johnny has got to win. There's no way she's winning this after that. There's no way. There's no way. James from court says, by his feet, Ben keeps a small brown alpaca stuffed animal, and at one point when it fell over, he reached down and stood it back up. He's so fucking cute. He's adorable. This was incredible. I didn't write the op-ed. It's not about him. Amber on the cross just now. That's where I wrote the op-ed about him. It's over. Case closed. Case closed. Wow. 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 I can't wait to hear what you guys think, because I know that you have been watching. What are your feelings? Tell me, oh, were you as blown away? Like, what the fuck? Like, wow. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm gonna go do some work. Wow. I can't believe that just happened. I cannot believe that just happened. Oh my god, let me know what you think. Anyway, think about liking, think about subscribing. If not, I completely understand, but this was insane. I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock she did that. Like, they wanted to get under her skin and get Amber to show herself and show her true fucking colors, to the point where she just couldn't control herself. They wanted to show her Amber not having self-control. They wanted to show the Amber, you know, just losing it so much to the point where, like, your main point saying that you did not write this op-ed about him came out of your mouth and you fucking said it. She's gonna go home and fucking bawl. She's gonna go online and fucking bawl. This is going to be a horrible Thursday evening, afternoon for Amber Heard. In the Heard household, it's about to be fucked on today, honey. She is going to be a horror show. I would want to be out the way. I'd be like, oh damn, ooh. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'll see you guys in another video. I did see some comments about, like, what am I going to talk about? I keep trying to end this, but, like, what am I going to discuss, like, after this is done and this, that, and another? And, I mean, I have some ideas, but quite honestly, I'm a mixed bag type of person. You never know what you're going to get. So, I have different interests, I have different hobbies, I have different things. Like, I like, you know, watching shit and crime and reality TV. I like a whole bunch of different stuff. So, I mean, we'll just have to see. And if you stick around, then thank you, and you'll be here to find out. If not, I get it. I completely get it. This has been a fun fucking ride. But, yeah, video over. Bye.